Boston. This laid-back, working-class city has evolved in the shadows of New York, its hyperactive neighbor. Known as the cradle of liberty, it was, in a way, the birthplace of America as we know it today.
The Puritans were people who came to found a community. Their vision and their drive to build community led eventually to the American Revolution.
Built on a small peninsula, the city expanded its borders time and time again to accommodate the countless waves of immigration that rolled in over time.
I would say it's more than doubled in size. It has grown immensely over time.
Often referred to as the Athens of America, Boston is home to over 80 colleges and universities. But that isn't its only link with the traditions of ancient Greece. It also has a surprising obsession with sports.
This is the top city in the U.S. It might even be the top city in the world.
Underneath its wise and calm appearance, Boston is a lively and green city where culture and knowledge are highly valued and make for a remarkable quality of life. Boston's shape has changed dramatically since its foundation. Yet, it remains one of the best preserved cities in America.
So Boston has grown considerably over time.
It has grown immensely over time. It's incredible. It's a city that had very little land to use. So as the city grows, they started filling little by little edges around the original peninsula.
How much has Boston increased in size since its foundation?
I would say it's more than doubled in size. At some point, 19th century came, big expansion. They decided to infill the entire area between the neck that was Washington Avenue, Tremont, and Columbus, all the way up to where we're walking right now, which is the Back Bay. So South End, Copley Square, where we were standing before, and Back Bay were all developed in the 19th century.
So we're walking on landfill right now?
We're walking on landfill, yes. Centuries ago, we would be pretty much wet.
The origin, Boston, was made up of several hills, but now Beacon Hill is the only one remaining.
Beacon Hill is the only one remaining, and not even completely.
So was the main reason for shaving off the hills to use the land for landfill?
Exactly. The earth of all of these mountains was actually going horizontally outwards. The way they would use to expand the city, they would use the existing wharfs as the limits that they were using to infill. So they would actually fill the land between the wharves, use that as the expansion of the city, and build new wharves following the existing roads outwards. So it really grew as a series of rings around the old peninsula until they decided that they needed more land for housing, and they developed the Back Bay on the south end.
They couldn't have just chosen another spot?
Might have been easier, definitely, but it was a phenomenal port location with the Charles River and all the islands. It was geographically in the right place.
So Boston was a hidden port and a natural port?
Yes, exactly. So here we're again following all of this area that was infilled in the 19th century. We can see the architecture is definitely more elegant and of a higher scale than what we saw in the South End. One aspect, just the fact that the stairs are higher up, the first level is also higher, gives an elegant presence of the building to the street. We also see a lot of European type of detailing in these buildings. We could be in London, certain buildings, definitely so others. We could be in Paris. It was meant to be one of the big residential boulevards of the 19th century. And then here in the middle, we have this beautiful park that links the Boston Commons to the Muddy River to the Franklin Park, which is part of this emerald necklace that Olmsted designed as part of his intervention in the city of Boston.
So Frederick Olmsted was the first landscape designer?
I think you would say he's the first landscape architect. Landscape architecture. It's a profession in its own rights now. And yes, he was. Here, what he was able to do is to play with existing parks. The Boston Common was the first park in the United States. And then with the infill, Olmsted linked the Boston Common to the Muddy River Parkway. And then the Muddy River Parkway was linked to Franklin Park. And then he linked Franklin Park to Castle Island. So he based his design on existing beautiful pieces of landscape, and he just managed to make it all come together.
Hence the emerald necklace.
Hence the emerald necklace. Every single sunny day, you will have thousands of people here enjoying the sun. You have also a lot of people here at lunch break. Even if it's cold, you'll see people here enjoying their lunch breaks. At 6 a.m., you will have a lot of people jogging around here. People enjoy the quality of these spaces.
It's remarkable how many trees there are here.
That's one of the first things that I noticed when I came here, and I still find it surprising now. It's a very green city, and by green I mean green, physically green. You see it everywhere, all the way up to the river. The river edge is green, it's a phenomenal green. And when you see it from far away, it's like an ocean of green, and you just see a couple of towers of churches poking out, but between the blue hills and the city, it's completely green.
The expansion of the city and the constant additions to the infrastructure created a complex and problematic road system. To smooth things out, the city launched a highway reconstruction mega-project called the Big Dig.
Was the Big Dig the largest engineering project in the United States?
It was in the United States and in the world. It was the biggest for a couple of years. All around the world, it was one of the most ambitious and expensive projects done for several years.
They surpassed their budget?
They did, by a lot. I don't know exactly the exact figures, but they doubled it. But I think it was worth it. For the city in the long term, it's absolutely worth it, just for the quality of the space. It's one of the biggest projects that the city of Boston did in the last half of the century. After being completely disconnected from the waterfront with a highway that was running literally where we're standing right now, the harbor and the wharves were completely cut from the rest of the city. It's a very ambitious project that they did in removing the highway and digging it.
The Rose F. Kennedy Greenway, where we're now walking, it helped to reconnect the city with its water?
Yes, afterwards what they did is they're creating this beautiful series of parks. It's creating a big central spine where before it was a central fill. So it's a very interesting development for the city, and it's really working pretty well.
And the Bostonians now have access to their water?
Yes, they definitely do, and they're enjoying it. There's a lot more foot traffic between the old part of the city and the waterfront, and people are enjoying going to the water now.
The Rose Kennedy Greenway also created an access to the city's isolated North End, Boston's Little Italy.
It's interesting for someone who's lived here a very long time to see the evolution of the Italian North End. When I was first here, it was truly a tenement neighborhood. You would see, women hanging out the window and, kind of what you do in a sort of a blue-collar neighborhood. The men had their lawn chairs out on the sidewalks, and it was neighborhood. And they were cut off by the highway. So they were isolated, but that left them to themselves, and they were cohesive. Once that highway came down and the north end knitted back to downtown, it has become a real tourist destination.
How important was Boston to the development of the United States of America?
Oh, number one. No, it's extremely important, partly because they were founded by Puritans. Unlike other colonies, the Puritans were people who came to found a community. Other colonies, they were founded to be economic enterprises, which is technically what a colony is. But the Puritans had a different plan. They were going to create a perfect godly community. They'd leave England, where they were terribly persecuted by the Anglicans, and create their own pure community. Their vision and their drive to build community led eventually to the American Revolution, because the British tried to interfere with their vision and with their life. And it was the growing tension that then led to protests, that led to riots, and then eventually led to the American Revolution. So very, very important. They were the instigators of the American Revolution.
So the independence of the United States is a Bostonian thing?
Well, no, we started it. We started it, and this was the first country to be formed that way, to actually break away and form their own independence on a system of values, of liberty and freedom from tyranny.
Can you tell me about the different waves of immigration that came to Boston? How did it all begin?
Boston has always been an immigrant town. The reason the North End is kind of the immigrant neighborhood was that it was stuck out furthest into the harbor. And so it welcomed each successive new group of immigrants that would come in and then make their home in the Boston neighborhoods, and then they would kind of move on, and the next wave would come in. The biggest impact of immigration is the Irish immigration, and that's the one that people identify with Boston. I wanted you to see what a Bostonian would call a neighborhood. Tourists, for them, it's the North End, it's the Back Bay, it's Beacon Hill. But for us, it's where either immigrants live or just where the ethnic communities are. So I brought you to Southie, which is the Irish-American neighborhood. Unlike other immigrant neighborhoods, they're American-born. They're Irish-American, maybe several generations. You go further out, the people are actual immigrants from Haiti, say, or Brazil. So this is an ethnic neighborhood, but it's an hyphen-American neighborhood, and it's Irish. At one time, the Irish made up a third of the population around 1855, and that's huge. They came in droves in a way that this small peninsula town couldn't absorb them. But not only were there so many of them, they were desperately poor and sick and unskilled and illiterate, and so they became a burden to this town. This town was Protestant and English and well-educated and industrious, everything that these newcomers were not. So there's so many of them, they clearly need help, and they clearly are the wrong kinds of people. And so the native Bostonians were just absolutely in a state of threat and anger over this new group. And they treated them very, very badly. And there's a lot of history about the tension and the discrimination, bigotry. It was the Irish wave that absolutely turned Boston around and impacted Boston, because the Irish took power away from the English. The English had it from the time they arrived here, and so the Irish, they now ran the town.
Are the neighborhoods organized into ethnic groups?
So, well, they kind of end up being that way, yeah. So for me, as a Bostonian, you say Hyde Park, that's a Boston neighborhood, it's where the Haitians live. I live other places and other people live in Hyde Park. But that's the Haitian neighborhood. Allston-Brighton is Brazilian. Other areas are Dominican, Chinese, Dorchester's Vietnamese. Boston is definitely a multicultural city, more so than it was in the 1800s. Also, I think people are more accepting of immigrant groups here. It's just, that's kind of the way it is. One day I was walking on Dorchester Heights, which is this historic site in Southie, and there was a black man walking a dog. And Southie is known for being very racist and white and hostile to outsiders, and so I thought, this is kind of strange. So I went up to him and struck up a conversation. I said, "Do you live here?" And he said, "Yeah." I thought that was really odd. And I said, "Well, what's it like, for you to live here? A black guy living in, a very white neighborhood." He said, "Well, actually, I'm also gay." So, okay, how is it to be black and gay in Southie, of all places? And he said, it's fabulous. The people are very friendly. He's settled in. He was nervous. He moved in because his partner wanted him to. So I think it's sort of at the grassroots level, people are maybe more accepting and kind of get on with it than maybe the sort of the myth, not even the myth, but the history will tell you. The mayor supports immigrants and supports diversity. And he has services to help people settle in. He doesn't call them immigrants, he calls them New Bostonians. He has an office of the New Bostonians, and it provides services. So they kind of take that old Irish neighborhood, help out the newcomers, and they'll keep me in office. He sort of has taken that and he's institutionalized it in City Hall.
Although Bostonians of all origins cohabitate well, to the outside world, they have the reputation of being reserved, a bit hard to approach.
Genevieve, how long have you been in Boston?
I've been in Boston for about 2 years now.
Are people here friendly?
People here have a little bit of a reserve, and they are friendly. It's really just a matter of finding them when and where they let their hair down, so to speak. If you seek them at play, then you'll be able to connect with them.
Is there a certain code to follow?
I would say, don't speak with your hands flying all over the place. Don't scare them. If you look composed and, sure of yourself, but, just generally, if you're polite and if you look like you've actually thought about the question before just asking it, then they will think it's worth their time to stop, tell you, tell you the answers, give you the direction, maybe not honk their horns too loudly at you. I would say it's all about having a business outlook. Let's spend the time wisely. Time is short, work is waiting. Let's not waste time on details that are just details. So it means that they've got less time for taking their time, far niente, and yet at the same time they can actually relax. It's just that they may not allow themselves as much time as other cultures would. For instance, you don't see all that many terraces. People will just not lounge on a terrace. It's something I felt I was missing. I needed a place where I could lounge if I wanted. Well, I found it. You can lounge on a dock. You can lounge on a pier.
That's what brought you to sailing?
That's in part what brought me to sailing. Really, I just looked at them. And all those little sails and all those little sailboats, they were just so pretty. And they looked like they were actually having a lot of fun. Funny thing is that the very fact that I had a hard time to adapt to Boston, and I needed a handle. I needed something that would give me a sense of belonging and some opportunity to develop some ties of my own. And one nice Saturday in spring 2010, I just took my courage, passed the door, registered, and started taking classes.
You're gonna take me sailing?
I will be taking you sailing.
All right. Hi, I'm Heidi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Everything here seems to be about community. And this dates back to the mid-19th century when the Boston Brahmins were already playing a pivotal role in bringing people together.
The Boston Brahmins was a group of wealthy individuals in the Beacon Hill, West End area who, were very involved in politics and the school committees and things like that, and the symphonies, and they started many of the institutions that we now know to be, so important. because of their charitable giving. There's always charitable events going on. There's always volunteer opportunities going on every weekend. It is a city that gives back.
I'm thinking that after a while, if you want to have a solid community, you need to give it the means to become so. It cannot just be a big gap between like the very, very wealthy and powerful and the others. At some point, you need to smooth things out.
For a long time, it was exactly those adult program membership fees that directly subsidized the kids program. So, expecting an adult to pay $100-something just so a child can sail here for the summer is a very concrete, visible philanthropic example.
This is just a visible example, and there are so many. But typically for me, philanthropy is that thing that's a bit vague and anonymous and can't quite pinpoint it. But this for me is like down to it, grounded. I see.
Do kids give money from their piggy banks?
They won't give out of their piggy bank as much as they will give out their time. But if you commit to something and put in the time, in the shared activity, you will grow ties.
Geneviève joined a sailing club to expand her social circle. But sailing is also an important way for Bostonians to rediscover their own city. Venturing beyond the Charles River Basin, sailors big and small can navigate around the city center all the way to the Boston Islands.
Is there always so much activity on the Charles?
Yes, it would take a pretty horrible day for there to be no one out here. It's wonderful to see the whole day, because at sunrise, the whole river is crew of rowing shells from an hour before sunrise all the way up to 8 or 9 in the morning. And then the sailors come out in the afternoon, and then the rowers come back at sunset. And there's always someone out here, taking advantage of it.
Was there something special for you about seeing Boston from this point of view?
That's the first way that I saw Boston that made it make sense. Boston was a merchant city. It was a city that was looking out to the ocean. So you need to see it from the point of view of the water. You need to be sitting in the water looking at the city, either from this side, then all of a sudden you have the city at a glance, or from the outer harbor, from the islands looking in. Then this is the historical Boston. This is Boston as it appeared in the mind's eye of people. For me, Boston was a city that I could not picture in my mind, where my own internal GPS was a bit screwy, because I had no way to see it from afar as I was approaching. It only opened up for me when I started looking at it from the point of view of sitting in the water.
Throughout history, Boston and its port have been a hub of commerce. But today, the city is known more for trading ideas and creating intellectual capital. Greater Boston, which encompasses Cambridge, is home to over 80 colleges and universities, some among the most prestigious in the world. It also boasts the highest concentration of higher education institutions in the country. Its 360,000 students and 70,000 employees have a major influence on the city's personality.
When I have a chance to say it, I quote Mark Twain, where in Philadelphia they ask a man who his family is because of the social register. And it's important what your place in society is. In New York, they ask a man what he's worth. But in Boston, what does he know?
Does New York look upon Boston with disdain?
Yes. They're very rich, they're very stylish, they think they have it all. So they kind of look down on us. Except in one area, in medicine and science and technology. There was a survey of the most innovative cities in the world. In the US, the top of the 10 cities that were surveyed, Boston came out number 1.
I heard that there are more scientific publications coming out of Boston than there are in all of France.
We have a lot of high-tech institutions. We have a lot of hospitals. We have more hospitals and doctors per square meter in this town than we have anywhere else in the world, actually.
The The entire neighborhood of Longwood wasn't enough to accommodate all of the city's medical institutions. The West End is now home to a part of the Massachusetts General Hospital, the first medical institution to affiliate with the prestigious Harvard University.
Harvard has been here since 1636, which makes it older than the United States. It was opened as a very small New England college, and it was founded under the reign of George III. And it's the oldest continuous institution in the United States.
What is the population of Boston?
Boston proper, the city limits itself, is about 650,000 people. But Bostonians claim to be from Boston, even if they're from surrounding cities. And the greater Boston area would be about 4.5 million people.
How does the population fluctuate with the student population?
We probably have about 100 to 200,000 students coming and going, but a lot of them don't leave in the summer. They tend to stay on, and many of them even come back. When they come back as summer students, they want to come back and go to college, so they wind up living in the city. So even though you see a fluctuation, it's not as much as you might think. It's become a very young, hip city to be in, and kids around the country have made a huge difference to the life of Boston. We have better musical events, better food, a very good musical and theater life with both avant-garde plays and musicals by local artists and musicians, a very thriving rock scene. They've stayed on and opened restaurants and bake shops, brasseries and patisseries on Newbury Street. And you have also a lot of Europeans coming in the last 15 years or so.
For all the bookstores, cafes, and theaters kept in business by the city's educational elite, this scholarly character has also helped the city shine on the international stage.
If you look at MIT, more than 50% of the PhD students are from other countries. India, China being two of the big countries from where students come. But we have students increasingly from Eastern Europe, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, who choose to come to college here for graduate school. We also have a lot of students from other countries who come here to train in medicine after they qualify in their own countries as doctors. These graduates, whether they're in science or in medicine, tend to go back to their own countries. They also come here to study political science, and several of them have become prime ministers. For example, the president of Liberia, Sirleaf Johnson, the head of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, is a graduate of the Harvard Kennedy School. The prime minister of Singapore also went to the Harvard Kennedy School. So you have a political influence. And finally, there is a very large high-tech industry, both in computers and in biomedical sciences in the greater Boston area.
Boston's highly educated workforce attracts businesses requiring intellectual capital. And this is reflected in the local economy. The average private sector wage here is nearly 20% above the national average.
Boston has this kind of odd paradox where it's very innovative and very inventive, but at the same time, things tend to change very slowly. There tends to be a very thoughtful way of doing things, and it takes time to develop new ideas which come before the innovation happens. But once the innovation happens and a new treatment is introduced in medicine or a new product is introduced, people don't jump on board immediately. So there's a long lag time between creation and adoption, because people are aware that, you know, change has its dark side as well.
After obtaining an MBA from Harvard, Eyre Muir moved on to MIT, the renowned Massachusetts Institute of Technology. At first glance, Eyre's concept of fast food trucks doesn't appear to be linked to his studies. But this type of experimental thinking, mixed in with a bit of traditional commerce, is precisely what gives the local culture its flavor.
We got started with a food truck, but it was sort of by accident. So we're trying to figure out what our menu should be, what kind of food people would like. So So we brought one sandwich out the first day, asked people what they thought, went home, changed it, do another version the next day, went back, changed it. We make cheap mistakes, like they don't cost a lot, but we make lots of little failures and then learn from them.
What did you learn at MIT that you applied to your food truck business?
A lot of the experimentation that we do here, I think, came from that background. Maybe our belief that we can set these really high aspirations and go after them. We do a lot of things really radically differently than other food businesses. We feel free to innovate and try really different things.
Tell me about the way that you place your order here at the food truck.
Writing orders down, we could only do like 2 or 3 customers in a minute. There wasn't any way to do it any faster. You just had one person taking orders and it was limited. And we wanted to do more, so we had to think of something else. I designed this order taking system, which is all, you take the order then with an iPod. And then when that order's placed, it gets separated to the right screens. In the truck, there's little screens all around. So the French fry order goes to the French fry station, sandwich order goes to appropriate sandwich station, drink order, and so on. And then it all comes back together to get you the right food. And now we can do 6 to 8 customers in a minute.
But Boston's 2 most prominent institutions have a distinct character to their educational philosophy.
MIT and Harvard are not much alike. I went to both. I love MIT. This is a very open place. It's open to the community, engages people. Everything about it, nothing's very shut down or closed. The buildings are literally left unlocked in the middle of the night. You can walk into a classroom. And that's just sort of the nature of the school. It's just very open. People are interested in ideas and excited about them and willing to share them. And where MIT is very open and inviting and about sharing things, Harvard is about walls and clubs and belonging and privilege, and either you have entrance or you don't. So the different grad students in different departments of schools don't have any interaction or very little. The library over at Harvard, nobody in the community can go and use that library to check out books. Nobody in the Harvard undergrads aren't allowed to use that library at the business school. It's just, everything is sort of that way. It's exclusivity. And so it's a very different feeling, And we can feel it. We have the restaurant over there, which we love, and it's fantastic, and we have this truck here. But the community and the interaction with customers is really different. And here, customers are more open to introducing themselves to a stranger in line. They'll be waiting in line and they'll say hi to somebody and start chatting, and it's that kind of a atmosphere. In the restaurant at Harvard Square, I can try to even introduce 2 people and they'll just stand there awkwardly and won't talk. It's just a very different sort of feeling. You have people here that love to see things change and embrace that. And then you have people in other parts of Boston that can't stand change and try to clamp down on it. There are a lot of people in Boston that are very conservative, but not in a political way, right? But just in the sense of wanting to keep things the same.
Old school.
And protect it. Yeah, it's a big part of Boston.
I would love to try your broccoli cheddar soup, please.
Okay, what's your name?
Heidi.
Heidi, all right.
Being at MIT, a lot of people are building all sorts of things. And so we have a lot of the do-it-yourself sort of attitude. There's still a lot of things we do that are experimental, and we can't get somebody else to do for us until we prove it can be done. So these menu boards over at Harvard Square, we've done ourselves. Tonight for the new restaurant, I'm building the light fixtures because we have this design. It's supposed to look like a cloud, and I couldn't get anybody to build it. And so we're building them ourselves. We don't mind doing things ourselves. It's the same approach to the menu and the food.
Ayer's desire to reinvent things has attracted a very creative entourage. And that's what Boston's all about. Rolando, his chef, has trained with kitchen masters like renowned chef Thomas Keller.
You also use modern technology reaching your fan base, let's say, because you're so popular right now.
It's sort of the trendy part of our business to say where we're going to be and sort of a pop-up approach. But ours is really about just letting our customers know what's on the menu, letting our customers know what's happening with the truck at the current state. For example, if a generator went down and the truck was going to open late for breakfast, we want to tell our customers so they know.
Broccoli soup for Heidi.
That's me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is a soup that we're just starting here today. We're actually testing it. And so we're asking, every time we give it to a customer, we tell them that we want them to tell us feedback. So whether they try it right then or the next time they come, they're going to give us feedback. And then I'll take that information and I might tweak the recipe and try it again the next day.
Well, I'm going to send my comments, but I can give you them directly. It's really, really good.
Good.
Yeah, really perfect for a day like this, and I bet you get many like this in Boston.
Yeah, it's pretty rough weather here.
We heard that the mood of Bostonians changes depending on the weather.
I would agree with that.
And how the Red Sox are doing.
Though Boston's founders were strong Puritans, the dominating religion of the day appears to be professional sports. Sure, Bostonians are a sporty bunch, but no one will argue their passion is more for watching than playing. City of champions, city of titles, professional sports define many elements of everyday life.
Is Boston the #1 sporting city in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah. There's no question whatsoever. This is the top city in the U.S. It might even be the top city in the world, I would say, too. The city is filled with such history and tradition that sports is just a way of life that it's handed down from generation to generation. So your fathers, your grandfathers, your distant relatives, they've all been Boston sports fans, so it's sort of in your blood here if you're raised here. And we have such iconic franchises, the Red Sox and the Bruins and Celtics, that have been around for ages, and even the stadiums that they play in, Fenway Park, that you can go to a game and you will be sitting in the same seats that maybe your great-grandparent were sitting in. So you really have that special connection to history that you don't have in a lot of cities.
Fenway Park is a mythical place, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really unique environment. I mean, for one thing, it's 100 years old. It's really a stadium that really fits the personality of Boston as well. I mean, you have a ballpark that's really intimate. It really fits the personality of what's a town. Boston doesn't really consider it to be a city. It's a town. And Fenway Park sort of reflects that. It's sort of, you know, it's one level stadium for the most part. Everyone's sort of huddled close together in there. There's only 37,000 fans that fit in there, so it's not a huge monstrosity of a stadium. It opens up. You can see the city skyline in front of you.
And the scoreboard is still changed manually?
Scoreboard is still changed manually, so you'll find that there are a couple of guys who actually, they work inside the scoreboard. It is that nice to still have that sort of throwback to what the ballpark was like, you know, decades ago.
I heard that a ticket to Fenway Park could be one of the, all compounded, could be one of the most expensive tickets in the country.
And they have these green monster seats now they put in, so you might have to pay $1,000 to get a ticket for a Red Sox-Yankee game for that seat up there. Since 2003, every Red Sox game has been sold out. You really have to plan well in advance to be able to get a ticket.
Buying tickets isn't the only thing that requires planning. The tailgate party has taken on a kind of cosmic importance.
So what happens when you're tailgating?
Well, basically, you know, we get all the gear out, set up as quickly as we can, and it's time to fire up the grill, start putting some food on the grill, get the drinks out, and then basically just spend a couple hours before the game sort of talking about the game itself, talk about what's going on with everyone's lives, just sort of reconnecting and with friends. I mean, that's what the tailgate's all about. You see people have as elaborate setups that they want to have here, so it's sort of like you're bringing your own house to the game. You might have your own flat screen TV, you have your own wood-fired stove over here, have your own pizza bake oven. You know, it's like, well, some people just bring the whole living room with them.
What makes Bostonians the most active and loyal fans?
All 4 major teams have each won championships within the last decade, so it's something that no other city has done. It's easy to be a fan when the team's winning. When the team's losing and causing emotional heartache, that's when it really is when you become a Boston sports fan. They stick with the teams through the tough times and the good times. It's exactly like having a love affair, and there's a lot of bad breakups.
So basically they're completely fanatical. If there is a Boston's game on the West Coast, people will come into work late the next day.
Oh yeah. You can time the traffic. You know that if the Red Sox are playing until 1:30 in the morning, your traffic, if you're leaving at 6 a.m., is going to be a little lighter than it used to be. And the mood of the city changes, too. If the Patriots go out here and lose today, you're going to see a lot of people are going to be a little surly tomorrow around town. If they win, the city's going to be a lot happier. And it's that way, really, with all the teams,
You don't
too.
have to read the newspapers, you just have to read people's faces.
No, absolutely.
We don't want to question character here, but reasons to miss work spiked dramatically the day after the Red Sox home opener.
Sports really is a religion here, which is, kind of funny because the Puritans founded Boston as really their religious escape from, the secular vices that they found back home. One of the secular vices was sports. So the Puritans would be shocked that Bostonians are now worshiping these athletic gods rather than, their one true God. They thought that sports was something that was just a frivolous activity. Those attitudes persisted around Boston for centuries. I mean, there are still stories of people who could get arrested playing golf on a Sunday, like in the early 1900s here, because you had blue laws that prevented certain activities from happening on Sunday. And the Red Sox couldn't even play home games on a Sunday for a few years because their ballpark was too close to the local church, too. These attitudes about where sports play into religious life in the city really persist for hundreds of years, too. They're so sports crazy that when it came time for the city to build a new tunnel under Boston Harbor, most other cities might name it for a politician or, one of the founders of the city. Well, in Boston, we named it for Ted Williams, who was probably one of the greatest Red Sox players of all time and considered maybe the best hitter in baseball. So we named our tunnel after our local baseball star here.
And you really see just how far they go. I mean, they have Patriot players painted on the side of the van. Yeah,
that's not, you might think that it was a team van. That's not. That's someone's personal van that they took the time out and painted it all on the side, so.
It's a professional tailgate setup.
Oh yeah, the real dedicated people, they consider themselves to be professional tailgaters, and
So you come here early to get the best spots?
Oh yeah, we have to. We set up here every week.
So you had lobster on the menu.
Today's lobster, yes. It's not always that. It's one game a year we decide to do lobster. Typical tailgate comes down to we have steak tips, pork, any finger food really.
In some respects, it's just as competitive out in the parking lot as it is inside the stadium. I mean, I think you really found recently people are really trying to go really elaborate, not only in just all the gear that they're bringing with each other, but also in the type of food that they're serving. I mean, seeing like a lobster at a football game now, you may not have seen that 10, 20 years ago. But now it's sort of become these elaborate dishes that you have, and people get really competitive about who can have the most elaborate tailgate, the best food that they can serve to their guests.
The competition is so fierce that there's a prize for the most adventurous crew. Today, the Wood Oven Pizza team was the hands-down winner.
And does the party end now when the game starts?
No, it just moves inside while the game's going on. And then when the game's over, then it gets fired up all over again.
People fire up their barbecues?
Oh yeah, this is only part one of the tailgate. Part two, once the game's over, rather than waiting in line to get out anyway, it's just as easy to light the grills up and start eating all over again. So you definitely have your day session and your night session too.
I could have stayed for the post-game party, but chances are I would have to take tomorrow off. So I headed out to take the pulse of the city during the game.
How's the game going tonight?
I'll let you know in about 10 minutes.
What's the score?
It's 13-13. It's high. It's not good.
Are you guys hardcore Patriots fans?
Oh, yeah.
Do you follow other Boston sports teams?
All of them. Red Sox. This is the biggest Red Sox fan in the world.
Eat, drink, sleep, Red Sox. I watch all 162 games. I moved to Rhode Island, and I just love coming to Boston. I love following the sports, and I just love it.
We're down 3 points. Under the 2-minute warning.
With less than a minute to play and a 3-point deficit, spirits are low. And Boston wins again. The city will definitely wake up with a smile tomorrow. Beneath Boston's quiet charm lies a thoughtful and passionate city. People arrived here from all parts of the world in pursuit of independence, ideas, and education. The result is a unique culture that appreciates new ways of doing things. And no matter what, at the end of a long day, the city always comes together to cheer and celebrate its heroes. Go Boston!